Can you explain to me how Americans win by funding circumcisions in Mozambique and trans operas in Peru and every other program that we've learned about over the last 4 weeks? How does that benefit the American people in any way?
Well, you're asking me to do something impossible. There's no way to explain how Americans win that way. But I can explain how liberal elites win. And that's really what USAID has been about. The purpose of USAID, ostensibly, is to provide some foreign support to countries as they develop. Really, what it should be doing is advancing America's interests. The problem is that the American government in recent decades has been captured by liberal elites. So when, just to use the Biden administration as an example, when the Biden administration ties all of this USAID spending to the promotion of LGBTQ ideology, to the promotion of abortion around the world, then the liberal ideology that has captured our government does win. The American people don't want to do that, though. We don't want to push transgenderism in Guatemala. We don't want to push abortion or LGBT ideology or any of the rest of it. And what's most absurd about USAID is it wasn't just funding liberalism around the world. It was funding liberalism in America by funding liberal nonprofit institutions that were then funding the astroturfed leftist activism that has brought such turmoil to our country. So this is why it was brilliant to go after USAID first, as Elon and Trump are reforming the government, and it's why the left is so furious. This was a major source of their power, and it's gone.
Yeah, every single program that's been cut, by the way, I don't think this is a coincidence. Every single program is a Democrat program, which is pretty remarkable. I know that you looked at some of these programs that DOGE and USAID are cutting. Let's take a look.
Stopped. Doesn't matter. You have a contract. So, Turquoise Mountain, which my wife Shoshana runs, has a contract, had another $1 million to go. Money just stops.
Oh, hold on. Wait, there's a contract between some organization and USAID, and the contract stopped. And hold on, his wife ran that organization, and they were supposed to get another $1 million from the U.S. government, and that just stopped. What organization does his wife run? It's called the Turquoise Mountain Foundation. Exists to teach Afghani peasants about degenerate modern art.
An artist called Marcel Duchamp, who's very important in Western art, put this toilet in an art gallery about 100 years ago.
All right. Michael, was USAID ever a legitimate government department?
It's very legitimate if you consider the purposes of global liberalism. I mean, in that way, they're doing a bang-up job. And what's funny is there's actually nothing new about this strategy. That politician you saw there is a UK politician, Rory Stewart. He's now a professor at Yale, and he hit the American scene in recent weeks because he picked a fight with J.D. Vance after J.D. Vance beautifully articulated the Ordo Amoris, the notion that there is an order to charity, and we're supposed to take care of our own before we start taking care of people on the other side of the world. Rory Stewart, way out of his depth, decided to pick a fight with the vice president over that, and then he made a huge mistake of complaining that this organization his wife ran was about to lose out on the gravy train from USAID. But this has actually been a strategy going back all the way to the Cold War. The CIA, famously or infamously during the Cold War, promoted Jackson Pollock's ridiculous art around the world as well. I'm sure there was some grand strategy to this, but it largely eludes me. The liberal establishment has been up to a lot of this nonsense for a long time. We can't find a way to rebuild North Carolina after a hurricane, but we can promote this kind of nonsense in Afghanistan and elsewhere around the world. I think Americans are saying, we're not getting a return on our investment here. We want to cut off the gravy train.
Information. Truth is freedom. Is Newsmax. It's real news for real people.